What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and today I am bringing you a profile update for the cover card on Burst Protocol. Today is the turn for Rockets. Now I have specifically made this pure Rockets, it's all TCG legal right here, right now, and this is basically a starting block if you are interested in the deck. To increase its ceiling and increase its power, you can very easily start to add in more Dragon Link-esque cards like the White Wyvern, the Black Collapse, and everything else in between. I've decided to keep this at the base of what Rockets can look like, and then when you start to add in the Chaos cards, or when you start to add in stuff like Chaos Space as well, that's when you can kind of start to adapt it to be a little bit different and take out some of the cards that might be a little bit more costly, and I'll talk you through some of the other alternatives you can play with inside the deck to make that a little bit more beneficial for you. So I'm going to take you through the main, the extra, and of course the demo side decks. You have a bit of an idea of exactly what you need to be putting together if you want to be taking this to the local environment. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. Starting off with the brand new card in the form of the Rokket Loader. This card is your brand new one card combo. It's absolutely insane for everything that it wants to do. So if it is normal or special, you get to add a level 7 Dark Dragon monster from the deck to the hand. You can't special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except Darks, which is absolutely fine. You can banish this card from the graveyard to then target one face-up monster on the field, and it becomes dark until the end of this turn. Now remember, a lot of the dragons and a lot of the Rokket monsters do have effects when they are targeted via card effects, but the whole idea behind Rokket Loader is it just gets you direct access to a card like your Absolute Dragon. So this is your level 7 Dark Dragon you're going to want to go to more times than not. The only other one that you might want to consider that you could go for could be your Noctivision Dragon. They are basically just extenders for the deck. So you have a bit of an idea of exactly what they want to do. Your Absolute is if you control a Rokket monster, which by the time of searching it you will do with Loader, you get to special summon it from the hand. You can only special summon it once per turn this way, and if it is sent to the graveyard by any means, you get to add a Rokket monster from the deck to the hand. Your Noctivision Dragon is purely if you already open up the Absolute Dragon, but on top of that as well is when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a face-down card or cards you control, quick effect banish this card from the graveyard and negate the effect, and your opponent cannot target that face-down card with card effects for the rest of the turn. However, what is going to be more beneficial for you is if a Dark Dragon monster is special summoned to your field, except during a damage state, you get to special summon this card from the hand, and if this card is sent to the graveyard as link material, you draw one card. So, nice extender, nice card that could be searched off. You can play Fantastical Dragon Phantasma in the side deck, that's something that you might want to consider, and because you can very easily search it, you can choose to play 1 or 3 copies, depending on what the local environment is looking like. Moving on to your other kind of like go-getter, go-starter, is going to be free Rokket Tracer. So if you are unfamiliar with Rockets, I'm going to take you through all of their effects. But the Tracer is a quick effect to target a face-up card you control and destroy it. And then if you do, you special summon any Rokket monster from the deck except itself. You can't special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except Darks, which is absolutely fine. So what are the cards you could pretty much get access to with the back of the Tracer? You can go for a Rokket Synchron. Now the benefit of something like the Rokket Synchron is it's just that level 1 tuner, and this can be sometimes available to you if you're going to be playing Synchros. I decided not to play any Synchros in this particular version because you'd be looking at Bestial Dispatter, you'd be looking at kind of like level 8s would be your ideal one, but sometimes when you Dark Lock yourself, the only one you can go for is the Dragon, the Tenyi Berserker, and yes, it's still a great level 8 synchro to have, but I've kind of decided to design this deck to be more link focused because I want to get access into all the Borrel dragons that I can. So your Rokket Synchron is when it is normal summon specifically, target a level 5 or higher dragon in your grave and special summon it, negate its effects, destroy it during the end phase. You can't special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except Dark monsters, which is absolutely fine because again, you're locking yourself in the dark, so you don't really care. The rest of the Rockets, some of them are kind of like optional. So the optional ones would be your Magna Rokket or your Shell Rokket. But the idea is that both of these have some niche effects you can apply in the duel should you need them. So when a link monster effect is activated that targets this face-up card on the field, quick effect, destroy this card, then send one monster on the field to the graveyard. During the end phase, if it is in the graveyard because it was destroyed by battle or card effect this turn, you get to special summon a Rokket monster from the deck except itself. Only use each effect once per turn, it's just another level 4. Your Shell Rokket, again, when a link monster's effect is activated that targets this face-up card, quick effect, destroy this card, then destroy one monster in its column. And if you do, destroy any monster in the adjacent zones as well. So basically what happens is you would destroy the card that's directly in front of it and then left and right. So it's a nice little free zone destruction, which is why it's optional. Like, you can choose to cut these guys out. It's a 41 card deck, so you can cut it down to 40 if you need to, but you have options if you wanted to. Sometimes the level 2 can be quite useful for you, but ultimately it's not really that effective with this particular version, because you're either going to use it as fusion material or you're going to be using it as link material. And then on top of that as well, during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was destroyed and sent by battle or card effect this turn, you get special on a Rokket monster from the deck except itself. So they just cycle themselves back into each other. I'll show you the more important ones at the end, just so you have a bit of an idea. Another one that you could choose to play or not is going to be your Recharger. So if a dark monster or monster you control that was special from the extra deck is destroyed by battle or card effect, you get to send this card from the hand or field to the graveyard, target one of those destroyed monsters, and then special on a dark monster from the graveyard with a different original name from the targeted monster. Only use each effect once per turn. And then while you control a dark monster, you get special on from the extra deck. Your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for attack. So it's just one of the ones that if your opponent tries to destroy your stuff, you can kind of clap back a little bit. Another card you could utilize is Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. Yes, of course, that was probably a little bit more effective with the old time rules, but still don't underestimate just one of those times where you can go, oh, I've got 1500 damage left on the field, I can't clear it off, go into Scarlet and off you go. So it kind of works as your own Borga in a sense. And then the ones that are probably a little bit more important for the whole strategy is your Rokket Caliber and your Rokket Silver Rokket Dragon alongside your brand new Rokket Detonator. So all of the Rokket monsters I showed you before this, leading up from your Rokket Synchron, in my opinion, they're your Chaos cards. So if you wanted to play Dragon Link, that would be where your White Wyverns come into play, that's where your Black Collapse comes into play, your Chaos Space, everything else in between. They are your flex spots very easily. Whereas these cards I still think are really good no matter what version of the deck you play. So your Caliber, you get special on this card from the hand to a zone a Dark Link monster points to, only special on it once per turn this way. Treat this card special on any Dark Dragon or Machine monster from your hand except itself. So it's just another way to get other Dark Rokket monsters from the hand. The Silver Rokket is when a Link monster's effect is activated that targets this face-up card on the field, destroy this card, and then look at your opponent's extra deck and banish one card from it. During the end phase, again, if it is in the graveyard, destroy it on the field by battle or card effect. Sent there this turn, special on a Rokket from the deck except itself. But the idea is this is going to give you pure knowledge of your opponent's extra deck, and then more so in like a Yummy matchup, rip away the Snatchy. But then again, in a K9 matchup, you could probably rip away their Ripper if they're only playing one of it. You can then start diving deeper into exactly what you're facing, take away core components your opponent might need to play. It's less relevant, but it's just an option that pops up for you. And then we've got the Rokket Detonator. So you control a Dark Dragon Link monster, you get special on this card from the hand. You can only special summon it once per turn this way. Target a Dark Dragon monster in your spell and trap zone, special summon it, but it cannot attack. Also, its effects are negated. You can't special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except Dark monsters. Now that's actually really relevant with the newer cards being your Fatal Flare Dragon, because you're going to be able to see that this is going to put monsters into your spell and trap zones. Moving on to the spells, free quick launch, like this is also part of your combo because this just lets you special on a Rokket from the deck. You destroy it during the end phase and it's not a once per turn. Like this card is crazy. The benefit of it not being named the Rokket card is actually quite important, but yeah, it works out nicely. We've then got the one double interlock, so you activate one of these effects, you can only use each effect once per turn. Fusion summon a fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing some materials from the graveyard, including a Rokket monster. Or you can ritual summon a ritual monster from your hand by banishing monsters from the graveyard whose total levels equal or exceed, including a Rokket monster. Now, if you wanted to, you could play the Rokket ritual monster. I know, Rockets have a ritual monster. But this is mainly in here to get into your Fatal Dragon because this card's just insane. And you can actually search that very easily, and we'll show you that when we go through the extra deck. Then the standard one Boot Sector launch and the one Dragon's Ravine, because you still get access to both of these. Both of these are still going to be useful to help you flood the field, push through Nibiru's and other activated effects, but then also being able to kind of set up more of a retaliation, I guess. Then the card I quite like main decking right now, just because it's a little bit of a surprise factor, is free Borrel Reboot. Now, it's not perfect by any means, but it's a counter trap card that I can activate from my hand if I control a Rokket monster. So when your opponent activates a spell / trap card, while you control a Rokket or a Borrel monster, negate the activation, and if you do, set that card face down to your opponent's field, but it cannot be activated this turn. You can activate this card from the hand by paying half your life points. Now, nowhere on that card did it say once per turn, so if I open up all three of these, as long as I've got a Rokket, I can just go, cool, counter, counter, counter. The fact that it's a counter trap card as well means that your opponent then can't go, cool, Chaining 1 their card, Chaining 2 Borrel Reboot, and they go Chaining 3 another card. It's like, nope, that ends the chain. And if they do it again, you go, cool, Reboot. The biggest downside is you let them set their cards, but if you're letting them set cards that they're trying to use during, like normal spell cards, for example, or normal trap cards like an Infinite Impermanence. So of course, the Infinite Impermanence could be used during our turn, but the idea is you just go, nope, carry on, nope, carry on. And being able to set normal spell cards is probably going to be the most damaging, because then they won't be able to use them during your turn. And if you're able to either destroy them or clear them off during your opponent's turn, or even during your turn, it kind of just puts them back to turn 0. Yes, it does cost half your life points, so you do need to be a little bit careful of it. It's a card you could side out if you wanted to, or keep in the side deck, and it's going to get better post Blazing Dominion, because we do get a brand new Link 2 Rokket monster that can search this out card, so you could pretty much afford to play a 1 if you wanted to. Then for the non-engine, but still technical kind of engine, I've got 3 Bestials in the form of Magnemute, Druidswarm, and Bulldrake, backed up by 3 Dominus Impulse. This is obviously a little bit expensive right now. We have had it confirmed yesterday that this is going to be reprinted as a overborder art in the new Battles of Legend for this year. If you don't have access to it, this is absolutely fine. You take these out, you'd then be able to open up the door to be playing stuff like the Beerus, or just open up the door to play different attributes if you wanted to. I've then got 3 Forbidden Crown, and again, Crown is completely subjective. You can play Forbidden Lance, sorry, not Forbidden Lance, Forbidden Chalice, there we go, Forbidden Droplet if you wanted to as well. The idea is that this is just the most upgraded version of all those cards. You could play Infinite Impermanence. This is just a card that I quite like the idea of, because it can protect some of my cards sometimes, but it can also lock my opponent's card down. Entirely up to you. Don't have to play this card. I know it's quite expensive right now. It's not a, if you don't have the cards, you can't play this deck. It's more of a, these are the top ceiling of the cards you can play, and if you don't have them, here are the alternative options, like I've already mentioned. Chalice, Droplet, they will still get you near enough the exact same outcard that you're looking to get. 3 Ash Blossom, and then Mulchomi Fuelos, backed up by the final, Called by the Grave. Again, depending if you're like, I don't like 41 cards with a Called by the Grave, cut the Called by the Grave out and go back down to 40. Entirely up to you. So that's it for the entire main deck of the Rockets. Now to go through the extra deck. Now for the extra deck, we do play the 1 Borrel Fatal Flare Dragon. This card is an insane addition for the deck. So it requires a Dark Link monster plus a Dark monster. And if it is Fusion Summoned, you get to add a Rokket monster from the deck to your hand. Target a dark monster you control, equipped it with a Dark Link monster from your graveyard or banishment as an equipped spell that gives it 500 attack. If this card is sent to the graveyard as link material, you get to target one of those cards on target a card on the field, destroy it. Only use each effect once per turn. But the idea is you fusion summon this out with the brand new fusion spell. You then, by the time you've worked your way into what is going to be the brand new Borrel Dragon, you'll have a Dilliger Dragon in the graveyard. You then equip the Dilliger Dragon to this card and then go from there. Then we also play the 1 brand new Borrel Shroud Dragon. So Link 5, 3 or more effect monsters. So for those of you that are new to Link summoning, the way that it works is you need to gain the total of 5 in order to summon them. This one says you need to use a minimum of 3 monsters, which means you can use a Link 3 and then 2 monsters of your choosing. You can use a Link 2, and then you can use more if you wanted to. You can use 2 Link 2s and then another 1, as long as it all adds up to 5, because the idea is that your 2 Link 2s are 2 plus 2 is 4, and then add the 1 being your final monster is 5, and you've used 3 monsters to do that. So this card is your opponent cannot tribute this face-up card on the field, and then once per turn during your main phase, quick effect, you get to target a Rokket monster you control and negate its effects of 1 face-up card your opponent controls, and then destroy the target monster. Your opponent cannot activate card or effects in response to this effect, and then once while face-up on the field, at the start of the battle phase, you get to special summon a Link 4 or lower Borrel Link monster from your extra deck. So what I love about this, and it's also kind of the reason that I like to play the original Borrel Dragon. Most people don't play it, absolutely fine. I have really good memories of playing Borrel Dragon back in the day, because again, when Links first came into like play, I guess is the thing, you either fell on the Borrel Dragon, which is the equivalent of like Kaiba in the kind of like the anime-esque push, or you went on Firewall side. Not saying that you couldn't do both, because of course I did do both, but the idea is that you had Borrel Dragon, which was like the Blue Eyes-esque, and then you had Firewall Dragon, which was like technically the Dark Magician-esque. But I really like Borrel Dragon, and for those of you that do not know or didn't even know that Borrel Dragon exists, 3 plus effect monsters, but it is a Link 4. So again, in the example I used previously, you can use a Link 2 plus 1 monster and another monster. You just couldn't use a Link 3, because then you'd only be able to use 1 more monster unless you use that Link 3 treated as a Link 1. If you have any questions about how links work, you can treat a Link monster as its Link rating of 5, 4, 3, 2, or you could treat it as a 1. So that's basically how it works. You can't treat, for example, I can't treat a Link 5 as a Link 2. It doesn't work that way. This card has, neither player can target this card with monster effects, and then once per turn, quick effect, target a face-up monster on the field, it loses 500 attack and defense. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this effect activation. At the start of the damage step, if this card attacks an opponent's monster, you get to place that opponent's monster to a zone this card points to, and take control of it, but send it to the graveyard during the end phase of the next turn. So it's like a really kind of cool snatch deal. The other Link 5 we play is the one Borrel End Dragon. So this one cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect. Neither player can target it with card effects, monster effects, sorry. This card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. Quick effect, target an effect monster on the field and a rocket monster in your graveyard. Negate the effects of the monster on the field, and if you do, special summon the monster that was in the graveyard. Your opponent cannot activate card or effects in response to this effect activation. You can kind of see how this growing theme goes, that your opponent cannot just respond to certain effects, which is, again, insane. Like, card effects like that, they just say, nope, chain end, no more, are insanely good. The final Borrel we play is the Borrel Sword Dragon. So, cannot be destroyed by battle. Once per turn, quick effect, target and tap position monster, change the defense. And this card can make a second attack during each battle phase this turn. Your opponent cannot activate card or effects in response to this card's activation. And then when this card declares an attack on a face-up monster, you can activate the effect until the end of the turn. It gains attack equal to half that monster's current attack. And if it does, that monster's current attack is halved. So, this was like the back in the good old days of Borrel Sword being the OTK. Like, crazy good. Then we've got the one Treasure Borrel Dragon. So 2 Dark Dragon monsters, including a Rocket monster, and if it is Link summoned, you get to add a Rapid Trigger, Heavy Interlock, or Double Interlock from the deck to the hand. So that's how you're going to search out the fusion spell. And then on top of that as well, you get to target a face-up card you control and a Dark Dragon monster in the graveyard, destroy that card on the field, and if you do, add that other monster from the graveyard back to the hand. Got the one Quad Borrel Dragon, 2 Dragon monsters including a Rokket, discard a card, target a face-up monster on the field. You cannot special summon Link 2 or lower monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn. Also destroy the target monster. Then if it was a Link monster, you get to special summon any number of Rokket monsters with different names from the hand or grave up to its Link rating, which is pretty insane. Hieratic Seals, this one's going to be a very weird one in this style because you will Dark Lock yourself. You've also got the Dominus Impulse. So if you wanted to open up the space for one of your Synchro monsters, this is something you could consider if you wanted to. One Dragoonity Knight Romulus. This is ideally to get you into the Dragon's Ravine, and you can do this before you Dark Lock yourself. Then we've got the Dillingus Dragon. So 2 Dark Dragon monsters, once per turn during your opponent's end phase, target a tap position monster your opponent controls that did not declare an attack this turn, destroy it. And if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. If a Rocket monster is special summoned to the field while this card is in the grave, except during damage steps, special summon it, but banish it when it leaves the field. Then we've got the one Guard Dragon Pitsy, Striker Dragon, and then just generic support cards in the form of SP, IP, and Gorgon. Again, Gorgon is completely subjective. You can take this out if you want to, but the idea is you Dark Lock yourself, mainly for these 2 cards right here, or basically IP Masquerena to then go into this or this. But if you Dark Lock yourself, you can play these utility cards. It can be very, very useful to disrupt your opponent. If you wanted to, like I've mentioned, you can look at some other Synchro monsters. At this exact moment in time, like if Savage Dragon came back, happy days. Like that card would be going straight in this deck. But for now, because it is still on the Forbidden side of the Forbidden Unlimited list, you kind of need to adapt a little bit, and Draco Berserker is the next closest option you can go for, and that's when you could probably take out the Hieratic Seals, which I don't think would be the worst option to do, and just go full-on Darks. But again, this will change if you decide to play the Chaos version, or like what is considered as the Dragon Link version. Moving on to the side deck. So for the side deck, again, adapt these to your local environment. I've got 2 Nibirus, 2 Drolls, 2 Perulias, and then just because of the hype around Radiance right now. Now remember, this video is going out on Friday the 13th. I know, spooky. Friday the 13th of February. As of today, it's the pre-registration days of YCS Guadalajara, Richmond, and Dortmund. So come the end of the week, we're about to find out if these 6 cards I'm about to show you are going to work, and if they really do limit the Radiant kind of expectations right now. But if you environment does not have Radiance, you just cut these cards out completely. But that's free anti-magic arrows and free magic deflectors. So why are these so good? Why are people asking for these right now? Quite simply, at the start of the battle phase, for the rest of the turn after the card resolves, spells and traps and their effects cannot be activated. Cards and effects cannot be activated in response to this card's activation. So again, quite like the Borrel loads, it's just like, nope, that's it. Nothing more. You can't do anything. And then Magic Deflector, for the rest of this turn, negate all equipped fields and continuous and quick play spell card effects on the field. So they activate a quick play, you flip this, it negates it, and then they, of course, they can start to chain more cards to it. But then if you have another one, you kind of just go bookend it, that's it, no more. And the final card I got is free Lightning Storm, just in case a lot of spells and traps are running around. Again, this could become anything you want to. Evening Match, I think, is a very, very good option, something for you to consider. So entirely up to you on your preference and what you have access to. So that's pretty much it for the entire profile. If you do have any questions at all, by all means put them in the comments down below. I'm always happy to answer them. I think the new Rokket cards that this deck got are actually really, really kind of cool. I like the idea of trying to keep it more Rokket pure, but I fully understand, as I mentioned at the start of the video, that this is going to be a baseline for you. This is like, right, okay, I've got loads of Rokket cards, where do I start? Or I like the idea of playing pure Rockets, where do I start? I'll get an idea of how the Rockets want to work, how they want to play, and then take it up a notch to go for the Chaos version, or just ideally go for the Dragon Link version, which just allows you to play Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. It allows you to play, I think you still play the Red Eyes level 1, can't remember its name off the top of my head, but the idea is you start to play like the White Wyvern, the Black Collapse, and I've already mentioned the cards with inside the deck that you could afford to take out in order to allow you to do that. So that's pretty much it for the entire profile. Like I said, any questions at all, by all means put them in the comments down below. I am always happy to answer them for you. For now, as absolutely always, stay safe. And of course, happy dueling.